guys, thank you so much for joining in. Today we're gonna go live with Jaquia Abreu. We're gonna talk about her book, which is Unorthodox Words, and we're just gonna wait for her to join in, and we should start. By the way, she is the book itself. It's a poetry book, so. Um, yeah, I absolutely loved reading it actually. So we're just gonna talk more about it with her in the book. So yeah, let's just wait for her to join in.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good, Alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good evening to you. I know it's morning here, but
Good
evening
morning
to
to you.
you. This is so cool.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like I've been waiting for
Can you see
you.
me? I feel like I'm cut off. Maybe I should back up.
Yeah, a bit.
Okay, let me change my camera a little bit. There we go. Maybe you can see me better like this.
Yeah, I can. Am I visible?
Yes, I can
Can you
see you
hear me
good. I can see
properly?
you good.
Okay, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you
Like,
for
I
having
really
me.
appreciate it. Of course, of course. So, should we just start with the session?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Okay. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah.
Because you are doing so much that I cannot do the justice.
Okay, so my name is Jaquia Abreu. I'm the author of Unorthodox Words, also the blogger of gullythoughts.com, and I also have a podcast, Gully Talk Podcast. So yeah, that's really me. I'm all about, spreading mental health awareness, trying to really help people understand that we can talk about it. We're here for each other. You're not alone. If you're depressed, if you have anxiety, like that doesn't take away from your strength. That doesn't take away from your identity. And yeah, that's really what I'm all about. Just spreading the love. That's it.
Yeah. I want to ask you, can you share more about the book
Yes.
itself? Like, um, what inspired you to, write it?
Yeah. So
The poetry and everything.
I had the thought to write Unorthodox Words 5 years ago. I was still working in corporate America. I was still in the finance corporation world, and I really was unhappy. And I was like, I just really want to be an author. I just really want to write for a living. But I kept procrastinating and procrastinating. And then in 2017, I had a really bad mental breakdown, and I hit a very hard time in my life. And my poetry is my escape, and that's how I really express my feelings because I don't really like to talk about them. So I just wrote a lot, and it got to the point where I really got into taking pictures of nature and flowers, and it got to the point now that I was like, look, I hit a mental breakdown. I'm struggling. Maybe other people are struggling too. So let me just put all my poems together, all these pictures that I love that help me and make me feel happy when I look at flowers and trees. So I just started putting it all together, and I started researching how to self-publish a book and how to really, put my thoughts into reality, which became this. So yeah, I really just struggled on my own. And that was what pushed me to finally write it. And I quit my job, and I was like, look, I just want to do something that I'm passionate about and that I love. And Unorthodox Words came about.
It's the book itself is really amazing. Like in the morning itself, I was just admiring the photographs and stuff,
Thank you.
like each poem, it's like very relatable. So
Yeah.
like I loved it so much. Can you, were you doing the poetry, were you writing before, you had a thought of publishing it as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes, a
Or,
lot of these poems are older. A lot of these poems I written over the years. Really, all my poems are in my iPhone and my notes app. And pretty much I just copy and pasted that into the program that Amazon actually used, which is KDP. And yeah, I kind of just used those old poems. I wrote some new ones, and I actually went through a divorce. So that was a lot of my poems in the book too as well. I know you probably read some of those heartbroken poems. And yeah, so I really had a lot of poems already in my archives that I kind of just had to weed through and say, which one do I want to use in the book? Because there's so many. Yeah. But I really did enjoy putting it all together because, you know, you just have it in your heart and in your mind. You don't know what it's going to come. So I'm just glad that it inspired you and that you came across it, because I would never know that it would reach India. So this is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah, it is really inspiring and very relatable as well. You know, like some of this poem, like I can relate to it 100%. It's like, you know, you are writing for me. Sometimes
really?
it feels like that. Yeah.
Wow. Which poem do you feel like, or which chapter do you feel like hit you the most?
Okay, so I have marked all my favorites in here. Okay, so one of them it's called Fire.
Yes.
Loved it so much.
Yes.
Okay. So can you tell, as you mentioned that you self-published this book, okay? So can you share more about the process or and everything? Because you know there has to be so many people who's aspiring to be authors, and you know they want to publish out there and everything.
Yeah. So it's actually honestly a more simple process than I thought. So it depends on who you go with. So there's a lot of self-publishing programs out there. So just do your research on whichever one best fits you. But Amazon was my best fit. And at that time they had KDP. I don't know if it's still called that at this point, but it's called KDP. And so you're able to do an ebook and a paperback. And pretty much all you do is you go on there, you create an account, and you upload your PDF or you upload anything that you've already written. And then you can kind of edit it as you go. You create your own cover art. You create your own spine. You create your own illustrations if you want, or you can have somebody else do it and just upload it. So it's really user-friendly, to be honest. The only process that was very difficult for me was just getting the book approved. A lot of the sizes didn't match, the formatting didn't match. You know, it was my first time. So those frustrations came into it at the beginning. It got rejected 7 times. So that was a really hard process, but it was a learning curve. And I think that if you really, whoever wants to self-publish it, I want to let you know you can do it. Their programs are out there. It was free. It was free to create my own book and create everything. And I think the only thing I had to pay for was to get copies once they printed it. But to sell it on Amazon, it's on Amazon right now. You can get the ebook, the audiobook, the paperback. And yeah, it's really a simple process. It's just frustrating if it's your first time.
Yeah, it's like really inspiring to hear that you know it got rejected 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is a big deal. Like you know, if someone like me, anyone can you know get disappointed or demotivated. Like I just don't want to do it. Like, but I'm so glad that you tried the 8th time and you know it got published.
Yes, I almost gave up. To be completely honest, I almost gave up, and I was like, maybe this just isn't for me. You know, maybe just this isn't my journey, and maybe I just need to find something else to do. But something in me was like, you're not giving up. Like, the world needs to hear this. Somebody needs to hear this. It might save somebody's life. So just, you know, put your big girl britches on.
I'm definitely sure that it has helped many people out there, because it has helped me. I even messaged you, if you remember, that I can relate to it so much, and like it has helped me as well.
Yes,
so
I loved your book review, by the way. Thank you so much for your words. It meant a lot to read how somebody else feels about my art and about my emotions and my pain. To be honest, a lot of this book was my pain, so it meant a lot to hear your book review and read that. So I really appreciate that. Honestly.
Thank you so much for putting it out there. Then only I could do it. Like, yeah, it's amazing. How long did the publishing and you know writing process take?
So like I said, I was in the process of writing it. My first concept of Unorthodox Words, it wasn't what it is now. I had a lot of different concepts. I changed it a lot. But when I really started to make this copy, it took about maybe 6 months to really finalize everything and get everything approved and get my like copies and all that. So it did take a couple years to really figure out what I wanted to do with this book, but the actual self-publishing part was super quick after it got approved. It was just the rejections and fixing and all that stuff that took the longest. So yeah, I would say about 6 months once I started to find the Amazon ADP program.
Okay. What is your favorite place to read or write? In your house, or it can be anywhere.
Outside. I just recently started hiking. I moved to Arizona in 2018 and fell in love with mountains. And so that was new for me to read on top of a mountain. So I can't beat that. That reading by water, reading at the park. Honestly, it's weird, but I love reading in my car when it's sunny. I don't know why. I just like the warmth and I just feel safe. And like I put my feet up on my dashboard and I don't know. It's just, I love to read and write everywhere. I write all day in my notes app, when I'm on the toilet, when I'm watching TV, if something passes my mind and I'm like, oh, I got to write that down. So honestly, there's no favorite place. Like, I just love to read.
For reading, I completely agree with you. Like, I live by the beach, okay? The beach is like right in front of where I live.
Yes.
So I love to go up to the terrace and just, read like in the early morning or during the sunset or, it
beautiful.
feels so good.
Yes, that's life right there. That's goals, to live by a beach, because we don't have a beach where I live. It's very dirty. So I bet you that's beautiful to just wake up and just walk out there in the sand and wow. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing.
It is. Like, I'm so grateful for that. Like, each and every day.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, are you reading anything currently that you would like to share?
I read a lot of books at the same time. That's my problem. I should finish one. But the one that I finished that I'm absolutely in love with is The Four Agreements. It's a pretty popular book. I think a lot of people have read it, but I just love how introspective it is and how much it just makes you really think about your thoughts every day and how conscious it makes me and how mindful it makes me. But yeah, The Four Agreements is my ultimate favorite of 2020 so far. What about you?
Actually, I just finished reading, and so I'm not reading anything currently, but I love to reread some books, whether it's, poetry or stuff like that. And for an example, your book, like I have read it for like so many times, even if it's like few pages or something like that, like I remember when I came from the, trip and it was pretty long trip. So I just, after just coming and settling in, I just got a book and started reading it. It feels very calming and, I feel like ease.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It's so common to read. I think that, we're such a busy society and we just want to do everything so fast and we just want to have everything happen so fast that reading just makes you stop. It just makes you be in the moment and makes you just be still and enjoy and imagine, and you get to create the own characters in your head, or you get to see like the art in your head, and you can't really find that anywhere else besides the book, in my opinion.
I agree. 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could recommend only one book to anyone, okay? Maybe they have not started reading yet or anything. So which book would it be?
If I can recommend any book in the world, I mean, I'm gonna always recommend my book. That's the automatic right there. Unorthodox words.
Yeah, but I agree. People should read this book in India. I don't know if it's like it is available on Amazon India because I have purchased from there only.
Yeah.
So yeah, people should just get it and read it.
Yeah. It's not for everybody. I've noticed that I got a lot of feedback that it's like, whoa, this is really deep. I wasn't expecting it to be this deep. But I think it's for the people that need it, the people that are really going through things. And I feel like everybody goes through things in life, but sometimes they don't know how to talk about it or they don't know how to deal with it. And I think this book just helps you feel less alone, because I've been through so much, whether that's sexual abuse or divorce or grief, losing my grandma, just trying to figure out life as a millennial in this world. So I think anybody can really relate to it. It's just not for everybody, but I think it's for everybody. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the beauty of poetry, you know, like anybody can relate to it, at least
Hmm.
some part of it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So the next question is that what do you think being an author helped you as a person?
Can you repeat that one more time?
What do you think that being an author helped you as a person?
Man, how does it help me as a person? So I think that it's really humbled me. I think I've always wanted to be an author since I can remember. I just wanted to write for a living. And then when I became an author, I was so hard on myself and I struggle with perfectionism. So it's like I came out with the book and then I wanted to write another book. And then I felt like I needed to do something else. And it's like I wasn't satisfied with just being an author, you know? And I think it really humbled me. It really showed me that you're doing what you love to do. You putting things out there that you want to put out, like be proud of yourself. And it's taught me so much about patience, being rejected so many times and really struggling with figuring out how to do this. It's taught me resilience. It's taught me how to be very uh, okay with being proud of myself. Uh, I I struggle with that. I can hype anybody else up and encourage anybody else and motivate anybody else. And sometimes I'm like, why aren't you doing that for yourself? You know? So yeah, I think this writing this book and being an author, it's taught me so much.
Yeah, it's like there's few parts that you have mentioned that I can relate to it completely. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you are just good with everybody else except yourself.
Hmm. Yeah. Sometimes
So
we just
it's
we need to treat ourselves like we treat other people, right?
exactly like so I have read your blog, at least a bit of it,
Hmm.
and I realized that the name is Gully Thoughts, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So why that name? What is the
Yeah.
process meaning behind that?
So the word gully in our culture, it means like raw and vulnerable and real. And I am a person that I don't like surface level conversations. I don't really like those conversations. I'm just like, hi, how are you? I'm good. Okay, bye. You know, I like to know like
I
really
agree.
what's going on. I like to know a person. I like to know the world. I want to know how the world works. So it's just a blog that talks about things that the world doesn't really want to talk about, or digs deep to topics that aren't really discussed in mainstream. So yeah, it's just gully thoughts, like raw, vulnerable thoughts in my head that I want to share with the world. Yeah.
So when did you started your blog website?
I started it March of 2018. So about 2.5 years now. Wow. Didn't even realize.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. How long
Okay, so
have you been writing on your blog? I love your blog too.
thank you so much. So do you have any favorites in the your book? Do you have any favorite poem?
All of them are my favorite, but I do. I have a lot of favorites, but I think my absolute favorite is the one at the end called I Approve. I'll show you guys if y'all want to see. Pretty flowers. But it's called I Approve, and it says, my authentic self is enough. No one needs to validate me. I was validated by being created. I was validated when I exited the womb. I am valid. My feelings are valid. The validations come from within. Within me is my worth. I release all external confirmations from others. I confirm myself. And why that one's my absolute favorite is because I always thought I needed other people to tell me that I was doing okay, or that I needed a high five from somebody, or I needed a hug from somebody to make it feel like I was wanted or loved. And I finally got to the point where I was just like, wow, like I can show myself self-love, and I can feel God's love and the creator's love, and I can feel valid in that, and I can feel worthy from that. And I think a lot of us just want to feel wanted sometimes, and we want our existence to be validated by other people. But that poem really sticks with me like forever, because I just think it's important for us all to know we're important. No matter if somebody else says we're unimportant, we are still important. Just by coming out of our mother's womb, that's where our value is. So yeah, that's my favorite.
Also, I really wanted to thank you for sharing. There's one poem about you and your grandmom.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Like, I can even relate to that.
Yeah.
It's really personal, and it's really hard to put it out there sometimes. Like,
yeah, it is. I think because grief is such a weird emotion. You don't really know, we don't really know how to deal with it, because people are just like, let it go, or you'll be okay. And it's like, but you'll forever miss that person, and you forever grieve that person. And it's just hard to put in words. And I honestly thought about not putting it in the book, to be honest. So I'm glad I did, because somebody else needed it,
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question is that, are you working on any projects currently that you can share?
I am. I actually am in the process of creating an online course. So it is pretty much just a course to walk people through how to deal with their emotions and how to heal from their trauma and really let go of the past and like live their life passionately and purposefully, and release all that baggage that kind of we all carry. And so it's just kind of like in maybe a masterclass format, or a presentation format where it has worksheets that you can work on every day, and to just like really tap into yourself. It has an affirmation challenge, a journal challenge. And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of combine everything that I already do and put it in like one portal for people to just go and kind of like teach themselves and really push themselves to grow and really self-love. Really, that's what the online course is all about. So yeah, that should be coming out soon. So check that out, guys.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to talk about the book cover.
Yay. Okay.
Have you created it by yourself?
Yes. So I actually created on Canva. I don't know if you know what the Canva app is.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I actually created on Canva. Like, I found this moon, then I found the little news, and I put these little stars behind it. Found this little like flat line with the pen, and I kind of just put it all together. And I had a lot of different variations, and I kind of just sent it to my friends and family. Was like, which one do y'all think, if you walk by in a bookstore, would you buy? And I think I didn't really think through it, because the news is really provocative. So sometimes I can't even have Facebook advertisements or Instagram advertisements of my book, because they think that I'm promoting something that I'm not. So the next book, I'll be more mindful of that. But I wanted to do that because I wanted to show how much we don't talk about suicide, or how much we don't talk about suicide prevention, or there's not a lot of suicide awareness. We wait till the person's dead. So that's why I wanted to put it on there, because it's like a look, this is serious, but I really love the moon, and the book has 8 moon phases, and each chapter is a different moon phase. So of course I wanted to put the moon on the cover, and then the flat lines of the pen just shows that writing kept me alive, and that I felt like I was going to die, but poetry has really like been my release and kept me alive and above water. So yeah, that's really what the cover is all about.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question is that, have you hidden anything in the book that only few people can find?
You said what? What was that?
Have you like any hidden I don't know, secrets or anything like that in the book that only few people can find?
Hidden secrets. I don't know. That's a good question. I never had that question asked to me before. I don't know. Did you find any hidden secrets?
No, I didn't. But maybe you have, like something that only few people can notice, or anything like that.
Let me see. Let's see what I can find. I think with some of the pictures, they have hidden messages in them that if you just look at it for first glance, you probably might not understand like the relation to the poem. A lot of the pictures are like that because it's coming from like my perspective. So some people might not understand why I chose that picture, but each picture has a meaning towards the poem. So I guess those are the hidden secret messages. Those are the only ones that I can think of are just the photos, but there's not really like something that I'm like, oh my gosh, only 3 people will probably figure this out, you know? But yeah.
Yeah. So you have done all the editing and, you know, designing and all by yourself, right?
Yes. Everything by myself. Yes.
That's a big deal. Like,
thank you.
It's designed so well. Like I knew that it was self-published, but I didn't know that you have done all the things by yourself.
Yes, so, I wanted my first book to be me. You know, I wanted it to be my creation, my art, and you know, anybody can take their own journey. They can get their own illustrator and their own photographer. But I actually took all these photos with the phone. I don't even have a professional camera, so I just want to encourage anybody that if you don't have those big resources or you don't have this big production creative team, you can do it on your own and just use what you have and utilize that. Because honestly, I recorded my audiobook in my closet with a microphone from Amazon. So if anything you can do is possible, you know? And I just really think that creating your own stuff and putting everything into your own art, it just makes you feel so like free.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's really satisfying. Like everything, when everything comes together, it's like so satisfying to, you know, go through it and stuff.
Yes, it is satisfying. I think even with this interview, just talking to you, sometimes I forget, you know, I forget the process. I forget, you know, making it and putting it all together. So I really thank you for doing this with me, because it's a reminder to myself, like, wow, like I really did this.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Sometimes we just need to remind ourselves, you know, okay, you have done this.
Yeah.
Like we often forget it.
We do.
Like
we do. We need people like you to remind us.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, I have a small request.
Okay.
That can you? I have already mentioned my favorite poem from the book. Okay, so can you like read it?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I can read whatever you want. I'm at your disposal today. All right, Fire. I think that is in the full moon phase, right? Yes. All right. Fire. I'll show y'all picture. All right. Fire is both cleansing and painful. It can kill me, but also make me stronger. It can make me flexible. It can make me shine brighter. Fire is needed. Yes, fire is needed. So why is that your favorite? Tell me.
I don't know. You know, it's like so much going on in just a poem. Like, first of all, the word itself, fire. Like, it can, obviously, it will be hard and it will be hot, but it can mold you, you know, from the person that you're going to become. So I think it's really important. It may seem hard at first or anything, but it's like, it makes you stronger at the end of the day. Once you are, you know, you've been through that stuff, like it will make you stronger. So it's like, I love this poem. So yeah.
I'm glad you love it. Yeah, that's exactly why I wrote it. It's because I used to run from discomfort and I used to hate discomfort. And I'm like, no, I don't want it. I don't want the pain. I don't want that. And then I had to realize, you know, well, how are diamonds made? How are gems made? And how is all this beautiful jewelry made? Like, it has to go through the process. So yeah, fire is great. Fire is great.
I agree completely. You know, it's like really important to, you know, go through the tough times as well, because that makes you the person that you are today.
Yeah.
And I remind myself every single day, like, you know, even if someone asks me a question that if you like to change something from your past, I always say that I won't change anything, because everything happens for a reason and it made you the person that you are today. So it's like, really important. Even the good, the bad, the worst, each and everything is really important.
Yes, I 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to say you're grateful for the things that
Yeah,
hurt you, but you have to be. You have to be.
I agree.
Gratitude can change so much.
I completely agree.
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to ask audience if they have any questions, they can just comment in here
Y'all got
so we
any
can just
questions, guys? It's just so cool that I'm streaming from India. I'm still in shock.
so am I. Like, thank you so much for doing this.
Like I
Really,
honestly didn't know the time difference was this big of a gap.
yeah. It was a bit like hard. I was like, I can do it or not, but everything worked out. So yeah.
So I said, read another poem.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes to that.
Okay. Let's see. Which one should I read? I'm just gonna flip through. Okay, yeah. Another one I love is Firefly. There you go. Illuminate within. It is not my face the world needs to see. It is my soul. It is not my talents they need to see. It is my creativity. The firefly cannot shine bright during the day. Darkness is needed for the utmost beauty. I might die young, but I'll die shining. So I really
So
like that one because I always felt like I didn't show what was really inside me to the world. And now that I'm doing that, I'm starting to see that I can help more people and shine a light to more people when I'm my true self instead of being this vain person that wears this mask, trying to pretend like I'm something I'm not. So yeah, that was what that poem really came from. And another one I would read is, yeah, I'll do this one. Dried Leaves. Fallen angels of the forest, but they serve a purpose to produce life, not to just get walked on, crunched on, all to feel worthless. I have a purpose. My life is green. My life is bright. My life will provide sustenance for others. I will bring back light to the tree. My photosynthesis is my inner me. I can't understand the process, but I know there's life still processing, even if I can't see. I can have an abundant life before I become a dried leaf. If and only if I live out my purpose.
so
So,
beautiful.
yeah, that one is kind of self-explanatory. You know, when I walk around and I see leaves drop from the tree, I used to think like, oh man, like all the leaves are falling, but they served their purpose already. You know, they already did what they needed to do and they were connected to the tree for the time that they needed to be connected to the tree. And that just showed me like, wow, like we come to this planet and we come to this earth and then we leave. And that's life. But what do we do while we're here? I think is our purpose. So
Yeah, completely. Thank you so much for doing this again. And like, I would like to say that you should, if you are writing anything currently, you should totally publish it because like I love this collection. So like I would love to read more.
yes.
Definitely. So yeah.
Unorthodox words part 2.
Yes, we are gonna wait for that.
Okay, stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate
Of
it. I really
course.
appreciate
Of course.
everything that you've done. And you're a beautiful soul. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
Keep
you.
writing. Keep helping people, creating content. Like the world needs you just as much. So thank you.
Thank you so much. If anyone, I'm gonna save this live to the IGTV. So in case if anyone missed it, they can watch it from there.
Yay.
Okay, bye. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for joining in. It was so much fun talking to her. Like, I think I can relate to her on so many levels. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining this. And if you haven't checked it out yet, go read the book. Okay, bye.